Hello everyone, I'm Elora Can. Welcome to Foodie Fun with Books. Today, you might be able to see in the background my two books that I've got here. I'm going to be making cherry ripe slice for the purposes of this book, Marriage and Mayhem, which releases on the 3rd of November. It's currently available for pre-order because it's just the 1st of November, so a couple days to go. But the reason I've got the first book in the series with us is because this one is actually free from the 2nd to the 4th of November. So if you pre-order or buy Marriage and Mayhem, you can download Love and Laughter for free, and you're basically getting two books for one price. Now, the reason we're baking for the launch of Marriage and Mayhem is that in Marriage and Mayhem, there's a lot of cooking and baking that goes on because they start a dinner crawl club in this book. It's not a spoiler, don't worry. But besides the dinner crawl, there's a lovely dessert that one of the characters' daughters, Ruth, makes, cherry ripe slice. Now, if you just go down into my YouTube history, you'll see that I made cherry ripe slice a couple of weeks ago, but I used the actual cherry ripe chocolates because that's one of the recipes that they had. I was reluctant to use the recipe with the sweetened condensed milk because of all the sugar content, but you know what? With the amount of chocolate that I had to put in the other cherry ripe slice, I've decided that I'm going to make the cherry ripe slice with the condensed milk as well. But here's the catch. I have no cherries. And I also don't have pink food coloring, which is what the two things that the recipe calls for. So we're having a no cherry berry ripe slice, okay? We're going to use strawberry jam in place of the 200 grams of glazed cherries and the few drops of pink food coloring. So that's me. As you know, I am a shortcut chef. I always use substitutes for things that I don't have. If you go back on my video baking history, you'll see that all of my recipes come with substitutes. So that's what we're doing. The recipe calls for 200 grams of glazed cherries. This was a 500 gram jar of strawberry jam, so I'm going with 200 grams of strawberry jam. So it's the no cherry berry slice that we're making today. I've already baked the base for the purposes of this video. The base was 1 cup of plain flour mixed with a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder and a 1/4 cup of caster sugar, plus 125 grams of butter. Well, I used margarine spread. Alright, you see this is already looking like a nice pink color. I specifically used a glass bowl for you so that you could see the process as I'm mixing. We'll pretend that the strawberry blobs are the glazed cherries chopped up, and the pink color is the substitute for the pink food coloring. And I think that's looking pretty good as far as a no cherry berry slice goes. So that's the jam in there, and then the other thing is 3 cups of coconut. That I do have. Here's my cup. I'm just going to tip it in. Now what we do is we bake that base that I mentioned for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. I've already taken it out. I was just saying to my husband, it's the first time I've had such satisfaction of baking a batter that just slid out of the mixing bowl and into the baking tray without any batter stuck behind on the jug, on the mixing bowl. It really was a satisfactory recipe to use. Is this still hot? I can hold it. So that's the cocoa powder, the caster sugar, the plain flour, and the butter or margarine spread. Baked for 10 minutes at 180. Here are my 3 cups of coconut in with the strawberry jam and condensed milk for our no cherry berry slice. Obviously, if you want the actual recipe with the cherries, the glazed cherries and the food coloring, I will have all of those details in the comments for you, and I will also have the links for both of these books, the free link for Love and Laughter and the pre-order or purchase link for Marriage and Mayhem, depending on which day you have a listen to this, because as I say, it does release on Monday the 3rd of November. Now, you might notice with my two books here that I've got the proper copy of Love and Laughter, but the free copy of Marriage and Mayhem. So I'm going to put that in the comments for you. And I will also have the links for both of these books, the free link for Love and Laughter and the pre-order or purchase link for Marriage and Mayhem, depending on which day you have a listen to this, because as I say, it does release on Monday the 3rd of November. Now, you might notice with my two books here that I've got the proper copy of Love and Laughter, but I've got the grey striped copy of Marriage and Mayhem. Can you see it there? Unfortunately, there's been a delay in delivery. Well, sorry about that. The beauty of recording live. There's been a delay in delivery, and so my author copies of Marriage and Mayhem have not yet arrived. I will admit this pink color does not look as grand as I'd like it to look, but again, the beauty of live recording. So, the condensed milk, the 3 cups of coconut flakes, and the, well, supposed 200 grams of glazed cherries with pink coloring go on top of the base with the cocoa powder, the flour, the caster sugar and butter, and actually it does look pretty good. And then this bakes for 20 to 25 minutes, also at 180. And then after that, I'm going to be melting choc chips, 200 grams, 250 grams, with 20 grams of coconut oil. And you combine those two, and once this is cooled down and the chocolate bits and coconut oil are melted, you then pour it on top of your coconut base and wait for it to set. I would imagine you'd have to wait for this mixture to cool because it'll just sort of run into it if it's hot, I think. So I'll be waiting for this mixture to cool out of the oven, and then I'll be pouring the melted choc chips and coconut oil on top. So there we go. The no cherry berry slice. Thanks for joining me. It's always fun and games here at Foodie Fun with Books. Foodie Fun, that's me. See you later. Bye for now.